Today we're diving into the Japanese theories of One Piece that aren't so well known in the US. In this video, we'll explore the mysteries of the One Piece world, including the enigma of its axial tilt and polar shift, the existence and history of a lost Grand Kingdom, and the secrets hidden within the Straw Hat's perception of time. We're breaking down these popular Japanese discussions in a way that's easy to understand, so make sure to stick around till the end. If you find yourself thinking, there's so much more to the One Piece world than I thought, while watching this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And if you're amazed by the idea that polar shifts could be the key to unraveling all mysteries, drop a polar shift in the comments. Alright, let's get started. Here on Earth, right around the equator, there's this zone where the wind just doesn't blow. It's a quirk of our planet's climate system. In the world of One Piece, there's something similar called the Calm Belt, right near the Grand Line. The Calm Belt wraps around the Grand Line, kind of like a belt, hence the name. Now, the Grand Line runs horizontally across the One Piece map, but then there's the Red Line, which goes vertically. The thing about the Red Line is, it's literally a red path. It cuts across the One Piece world just like the equator does on Earth. So here's the thought. What if the Red Line, which is actually vertical, is sort of acting like the equator in the One Piece world? This question is just one of many mysteries in the saga. Even though the One Piece story is chock full of mysteries, we're heading into the final chapters. Fans everywhere are left wondering, how will all these loose ends get tied up? But believe it or not, there might just be one way to solve everything in a snap. And it all hinges on a secret that the creator, Eiichiro Oda, has woven into the world. Imagine if he planted a huge twist within the very planet that Luffy and his crew call home, the Blue Star. This twist could potentially untangle all the mysteries at once. He has sprinkled a ton of geographical info throughout the story, often through Nami's lines. It suggests that geography might be one of his strong suits. The initial setup of the world that Luffy and his crew explore is insanely detailed. It includes things like the tilt of the planet's axis and places they've never even been to. When you take a close look at the world Eiichiro Oda has created, the level of detail is nothing short of extraordinary. Why go to such lengths if there isn't some twist involved? The twist he might have hidden is related to pole shift, the movement of a planet's poles. This could be the key to unraveling many of the story's enigmas. Pole shift refers to a remarkably simple phenomenon where the Earth's axis moves. Previously, it was believed that, similar to a globe, the axis was set around the Grand Line, and everything rotated accordingly. However, in reality, it was rotating around the Grand Line as a horizontal axis. If this axis movement had occurred during the mysterious blank century, it would solve many puzzles. Pole shift might sound like a far-fetched idea at first glance, but Eiichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, has been heavily influenced by the works he saw in his childhood. Pole shift in particular was a prevalent theme in popular works of that time. For instance, in Future Boy Conan, a cataclysm is triggered by a weapon far surpassing nuclear arms in power, warping the Earth's crust and twisting its axis. This led to all 8 continents being torn apart and submerged beneath the sea, a narrative that overlaps with the world of One Piece, suggesting its use of the pole shift concept. Interestingly, Future Boy Conan was directed by Hayao Miyazaki. One Piece features numerous tributes to Studio Ghibli, highlighting Eiichiro Oda's deep respect for Miyazaki. I've always been a fan of Hayao Miyazaki, so I want to see anything he's created, was a statement made, highlighting Eiichiro Oda's childhood influence by Miyazaki's works. Furthermore, there's a work called Fingerprints of the Gods that features an item strikingly similar to the poneglyphs. In this narrative, a powerful figure transforms non-swimmers into fish. The term the Fifth Sun also makes an appearance. After reading this book, one might feel as if they've been spoiled with One Piece's secrets due to the overwhelming similarities between the two. Fingerprints of the Gods incorporates the theme of pole shift, where the Earth's axis is in motion. At that time, there was a plethora of science fiction themed around the concept of pole shift. The author of Fingerprints of the Gods is Graham Hancock. Before we dive into the main topic, let's ponder what would happen if there were a pole shift, meaning a change in the Earth's axis. Simply put, areas with high and low water levels would swap places. The Earth rotates around its axis, generating a force known as centrifugal force. This force is stronger the further you are from the axis, meaning centrifugal force is greater near the center and lesser near the poles. As a result, water levels near the center are slightly higher than those at the poles. Formally, this is expressed by the reaction force of centrifugal force, F equals mw squared r. Assuming the positions of the North and South poles shifted during the blank century, this would explain the increased water levels along the Grand Line. This fluctuation in water levels is intricately linked to the overarching narrative of One Piece. There are tales of Wano country, once connected to the world, now lying at the bottom of the sea. In the explanation of Long Ring Long Land Island, it said, "This island is originally a long ring shape, but normally it's divided into 10 islands by the sea. Impelled Down exists within the sea, yet its structure remains a mystery. It makes one wonder if Impelled Down was not initially underwater. If the rising water levels play a crucial role, it finally gives meaning to the peculiar trait of devil fruit users being unable to swim. There are numerous hints suggesting the shifting of the Earth's axis. Are you aware of what happens when the Earth's axis shifts? The magnetic field goes haywire. In the song, Bink's Saki, there's a line, "A bird sings in the sky drawing circles," indicating birds flying in circles due to the disturbed magnetic field. Then there's the existence of south birds. They always face south due to their internal magnetism, but their offspring have their faces turned 90 degrees, giving rise to western and eastern birds instead of south birds. Furthermore, whales are creatures troubled by the disturbance of the magnetic field. With their sense of magnetism, the disordered field leads them to strand themselves. Luffy, Law, and Kid have been frequently portrayed together in recent times, battling the four emperors, marking them as a set as crucial as the Straw Hat Crew. It seems we might soon encounter the immortal I Am in the story. The existence of the Op fruit, which grants immortality, and the human fruit model Nika, signifying a being beyond human, are hinted at. Amidst these, there's a strong possibility that Eiichiro Oda has assigned a significant meaning to Kid's ability as well. Similarly, the powers of the magnet fruit may also hold a deeper meaning. Eiichiro Oda has expressed his desire to create a manga that perfectly aligns in detail, unlike other mangas. If the axis had shifted by 90 degrees during the blank century, what would be the impact on the planet? What if the planet moved its axis while rotating? Theoretically, if the axis moved while the planet was rotating, it would have drastic effects, assuming other planets rotated like Earth. However, if the rotation was slow, it wouldn't pose much of an issue. In the world of One Piece, it's possible that the rotation is slow. The length of a day seems incredibly long, doesn't it? On the first day of his journey, Luffy defeats Alvida, overcomes Morgan, battles Buggy, recruits Zoro, and teams up with Nami. All these events happening within a single day does raise some eyebrows. The fact that Luffy defeats Crocodile and then Enel in what seems like the following week only adds the peculiarity of the passage of time. They received the Mary and went on numerous adventures. However, in reality, the Mary was burned just after about 40 days. There was that moving scene where Robin shouted, "I want to live!" But at that time, she had only been part of the crew for about 2 weeks. It makes you wonder why Eiichiro Oda, who wants to make sure all the details match up, would need to shorten the adventure time so drastically. But in the world of One Piece, a day is incredibly long. This suggests that the planet's rotation might be slow, resolving all inconsistencies. If someone finds the One Piece and the axis shifts back, the world would literally turn upside down. The red line would become the equator, no longer making the Grand Line the equator. The calm belt that surrounds the Grand Line would disappear. The nests of the Sea Kings would vanish, allowing free access into the Grand Line. This would unify the seas, perhaps even leading to the legendary All Blue. The currents of the Grand Line would also reverse, and while the surface and deep-sea currents have been explained in a way that matches Earth, they're depicted in reverse. It's clear that currents play a key role. Roadstar guiding through the waters implies the significance of water currents. If the world flips and the currents reverse, hence reverse. That's why the entrance to the Grand Line is called Reverse Mountain. The reversal of currents resolves all inconsistencies. If the flow of the Grand Line were to reverse, Twin Cape, where Luffy and his crew began their journey, would become the final destination. Lighthouses are typically found at destinations after all. Conversely, Roadstar Island, currently the end of the Grand Line, was actually the starting point. The start and finish points are flipped. Ideally, Roadstar Island would be the starting point, from which adventurers choose their path and set off on their journey. So Roadstar Island signifies the road start, the beginning of the adventure. Are you familiar with Disney's Roger Rabbit? Gear 5 Luffy has features like bulging eyes, which might remind you of Tom and Jerry or The Mask. However, Roger Rabbit also exhibits similar traits, like eyes popping out. His extendable arms are also quite memorable. Interestingly, the protagonist's name is Roger, which might seem unrelated since it's derived from the Jolly Roger pirate flag. But within Disney, there's also Jolly Trawler, and the concept of wanted posters predates this work. Eiichiro Oda clearly draws heavy inspiration from Disney, incorporating numerous homages throughout his work. If Disney elements are being incorporated to this extent, it's highly probable that the name Roger was inspired by the rabbit from Roger Rabbit. And speaking of Disney connections and rabbits, there's another character linked to bunnies, Briar Rabbit from the Splash Mountain. The Splash Mountain is based on the old Disney story Song of the South and is one of the most popular attractions in Disneyland. You enjoy a leisurely journey that culminates in a thrilling drop. Could it be that Raftel, or the Tale of Laughter, draws inspiration from this land of laughter? In the Splash Mountain, the words laugh and laughing place are scattered throughout, indicating it's an attraction aimed at reaching a place of laughter. The anticipation of reaching a land of laughter, only to find it's not as expected, mirrors a recurring theme. Similarly, in Pinocchio's Pleasure Island, while happiness and fun are suggested, the reality is starkly different, a classic Disney twist. Thus, Raftel might not actually be about laughter at all. The narrative of Splash Mountain comes full circle when the land of laughter turns out to be one's home, hinting at a return to the beginning. In One Piece, a full circumnavigation of the Grand Line is anticipated. Perhaps Raftel is closer to the starting point, possibly somewhere in the East Blue. The phrase, "too soon," mentioned at Raftel could be juxtaposed with the "too late" warning just before the drop in Splash Mountain, suggesting a profound connection or reversal in their thematic exploration. Perhaps Crocus awaits at the entrance because he knows there's a place one must return to. He seems to be conveying a message by his presence, signaling a place we're meant to come back to. For those who've experienced the Splash Mountain, you might find River Mountain familiar. It's because both mountains share a similar structure, with their peaks leading to a thrilling descent. This similarly suggests that the journey around the Grand Line circles back to where it started, making the entrance, River Mountain, a potential location for the ultimate destination, Laugh Tale. However, that's not the case. Briar Rabbit lived in the land of laughter, offering a new perspective on Laugh Tale. If his home, the land of laughter, was the endpoint of a full circle, does that mean Laugh Tale is also someone's home? But the one who actually reached Laugh Tale was none other than Roger. For him, his home was in Logtown, known as a town of beginnings and endings. Therefore, I propose that the true location of Laugh Tale lies in Logtown, which aligns with the deep significance behind the name Gol D. Roger. When represented as a circle, the north is in the top left, east in the top right, west in the bottom left, and south in the bottom right, mirroring the map of the Blue Sea where Luffy and his crew embark on their adventures. The red line spans between the northwest and southeast, while the Grand Line lies between the northeast and southwest. The seas are divided into four: the North Blue, East Blue, South Blue, and West Blue. Intriguingly, the axis of the Blue Sea runs between the northwest and southeast, suggesting that it might have originally been at the center. If the axis were indeed at the center, the North Pole would be at the heart of all the seas. Reverse Mountain sits on this axis, with Luffy's journey taking them towards the southeast. Considering this layout, the hypothesis that the axis, representing the North Pole, was at the center aligns perfectly. Near the starting point lie the Pole Star Islands, which also denote the North Star, indicating that the axis might have originally been central, with the North Pole nearing the starting area. Rogue Town, located in the Pole Star Islands, marks the beginning for Roger. Both the Pole Star Islands and Rogue Star Island, associated with the North Star, must hold significant meaning. Furthermore, if the axis were central, water levels in the vicinity would likely be slightly lower. The area around Logtown must have originally had lower water levels. When we talk about the Pole Star Islands, we're referring to a region with a somewhat elevated terrain, suggesting the presence of a larger landmass extending within the sea, centered around the axis. If the continents were shaped in this manner, it would make sense for both sides of the red line to be named after the North Star. If the water levels around the axis have risen, it's understandable why no one has realized that Roger's home, and potentially Laugh Tale, is located there. Eiichiro Oda has depicted a crucial scene in Logtown, where in Chapter 100, Luffy and his crew found themselves. Have you ever wondered what Log in Logtown signifies? As inferred from prologue and epilogue, Log means tale or story. What happened in Logtown when the legend began? There's a moment where Luffy says, "Sorry, I'm dead," with a laugh. Just like Roger, who laughed on the execution platform 22 years prior. This laughing matter, therefore, points to Laugh Tale. Right before his execution in Logtown, Roger captured the hearts of many adventurers with his words, "My treasure? If you want it, you can have it. Find it. I left everything this world has to offer there." This there suggests that Laugh Tale could very well be near Logtown. The theory that Laugh Tale is in the East Blue explains why Shanks was in the East Blue, the significance of the Goa Kingdom being in the East Blue, and the mystery surrounding Tequila Wolf also being in the East Blue. These points being in the East Blue might hint at Luffy and his crew's future destinations. Furthermore, if we consider the original theory that the axis was at the center, both Rogue Star Island and the Pole Star Islands, symbolizing the North Star, makes almost certain sense. With the axis at the center, the water around it would recede, revealing a large island. The red line would then cross right through the middle of this island. Viewed from above, the island would take the shape of a D. This visualization supports the existence of contrasting Ds, like Luffy and Blackbeard. The coherence in the contrasting structures is due to Eiichiro Oda's homage to famous places around the world. Yet, there's one landmark that hasn't been introduced yet: the Berlin Wall. The presence of two Ds at the center of the islands, forming the red line, brings to mind the Berlin Wall. On the front side of the red line stand Luffy and Blackbeard. Conversely, on the other side, we find Mary Joa and Fishman Island. It's here that we also encounter IM and the world government. Interestingly, the D, seen as a natural enemy of the gods, is positioned right opposite the world government. The town where Law grew up is modeled after Rothenburg in Germany, known for its resemblance to the morning scene in Beauty and the Beast and as a setting for Pinocchio, making it a famous tourist destination. Law's visit to Minion Island likely takes us to Lübeck in Germany, with the nearby Rübeck Island serving as a clue. All towns related to Law find their place in Germany, which makes sense if you think about the Berlin Wall's involvement. Originating from the North Blue, Law's background hints at an Arctic-like setting. Among his crew, we have a polar bear named Beepo, a penguin, and an orca, further aligning with the Arctic theme found in Law's character. These elements collectively contribute to the understanding that Arctic aspects are indeed embedded in Law's story. In the story, the Arctic side is depicted as Germany, while the Antarctic side is represented as France. This setting artfully mirrors a historical rivalry between Germany and France within the narrative. Characters like Germa and Sanji symbolizes this conflict. The name Germa is spelled Germa, which seems to be derived from Germany, indicating Germany. Germany is known for its economic and military strength, a trait that is reflected in the character design of Germa. On the other hand, Sanji's character is modeled after France. Words used by Sanji, such as mademoiselle, are French. Furthermore, French is also utilized in the names of Sanji's moves. Historically, Germany and France have had several conflicts. This rivalry is echoed in the relationship between D and the world government in the story. Elements associated with the government, such as the castle where I am and the government's top officials reside, are modeled after the Chambord Castle in France. Additionally, the headquarters of Cipher Pol, which serves as the model for Interpol, is actually located in France. The narrative presents a structure where D symbolizes the Arctic and the world government symbolizes the Antarctic. The argument between Buggy and Shanks about the Arctic versus the Antarctic reflects this structure. Buggy is depicted as a symbol of the Arctic, or D, representing the mysterious and often rebellious force within the story. In contrast, Shanks is portrayed as a symbol of the Antarctic, representing the celestial dragons and the established powers of the world government. This intricate interplay of characters and their symbolic meanings weaves together various elements of the story, creating a rich tapestry of allegory and conflict that mirrors real-world history. Through the characters of Germa and Sanji, and the broader symbolism of the Arctic and Antarctic, the tale explores themes of power, conflict, and the cyclical nature of history, making the One Piece world not just a tale of adventure, but a reflection on the human condition and our interconnected world. Could all of this just be a coincidence? We've talked about Logtown before, which is related to the story of Roger Rabbit. And on the opposite side, directly beneath Mary Joa, there's a place depicted that's molded after Toontown. When the water level on the Arctic side drops, the water level on the Antarctic side drops as well. This suggests that the location of Fishman Island is even deeper beneath the sea floor. The necessity for coding to reach there stems from this very reason. There once were large continents located at the positions of the Arctic and the Antarctic. Due to the pole shift during the blank century, a once thriving giant kingdom sank to the bottom of the sea. The inhabitants of the Antarctic side, being merfolk, are adept swimmers. In contrast, it's possible that the inhabitants of the Arctic side belonged to a race that was not good at swimming. These non-swimmers possessed a unique trait. If this trait is embodied in the devil fruits, it would explain why those who have eaten them cannot swim. When the giant kingdom sank during the blank century's pole shift, it's conceivable that the merfolk attempted to save those who couldn't swim, namely the members of the D clan and Joy Boy. The statement that no one in this vast world seas can match the swimming speed of a mermaid makes perfect sense in this context. This also aligns with the existence of Noah's Ark, providing a coherent explanation. The survivors of this catastrophe, possibly driven by the will of D, could be seen as a testament to this theory. As previously discussed in The Fingerprints of the Gods, a deluge was created, transforming the non-swimmers into fish. This narrative thread ties everything together, presenting a plausible storyline where each piece fits into the larger puzzle of the One Piece world. Through this speculative analysis, we delved into the depths of the story's mythology, uncovering potential truths hidden within the blank century and the mysterious nature of devil fruits. But what if, in the future, the axis returns to its original position? It's possible that new countries will emerge from the current Grand Line. At that time, Shirahoshi, known as Poseidon, might play a crucial role. It's said that the massive ship Noah will fulfill its mission for the first time when that moment comes. And then there's Aokiji, whom Eiichiro Oda has saved for the story's climax. Perhaps his time to shine is also approaching. So why did the once thriving Great Kingdom sink? Eiichiro Oda is known for his homages to Disney, and one story that remains is Atlantis. Atlantis was said to have sunk into the sea overnight. In Atlantis, we see the appearance of the flying fish riders and a plethora of triskelion patterns associated with the gum-gum fruit. It suggests that the story has been influenced by Atlantis throughout. Atlantis itself is based on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. In Disney's adaptation, the submarine is eventually attacked by the Kraken, a creature also present in One Piece. The author behind the story is Jules Verne, who left us with the words, "Everything that can be imagined is an image of reality." These words are used in the speech of Willie Gallen. The kingdom of Atlantis sank to the bottom of the sea. This implies that near the seabed around Reverse Mountain, there must have been a once thriving gigantic kingdom. Both Enel and Shirahoshi have shown a deep longing for land, with Enel referring to it as Verth. There's a line in the story that says, "That's right, mountains of gold sank into the sea." This can be considered a battle to reclaim the lost land, to retrieve the stolen earth. Jaya was always soaring in the sky, symbolizing that the gigantic kingdom had always been submerged in the sea. Therefore, the center of this massive kingdom is Reverse Mountain. The Verth found on Sky Island was originally part of Jaya, which was launched into the sky by the Knock-Up Stream. The remaining half became the Island of the Gods. According to the maps, the part where the continents are not connected is the north, and where they are connected is the south. When combined with the map of Sky Island, it forms a skull shape. There was also a statement about seeing gold in the right eye of the skull. However, ancient maps also come into play. When the ancient maps north and south are combined with the current map of Sky Island, the ancient south becomes the current north. The north becomes south, the north of Sky Island becomes west, and the south becomes east. It's clear that the positions of the north and south have shifted by 90 degrees. This indicates that the axis itself has definitely moved. Consequently, this shift could have caused changes in the water levels. With this explanation, everything falls into place seamlessly. That's all for today. Here on this channel, we post popular theories about One Piece from Japan. If you like One Piece, we would be happy if you could support us by subscribing to our channel and commenting. Thank you for watching till the end. See you in the next video.